The film holds a modest 6.0 rating, yet many viewers believe it's good enough to stand alongside Interstellar. The story is set in the year 2047. After decades of reckless exploitation, Earth is no longer fit for human life. But 620 million kilometers away, something extraordinary has been discovered in Jupiter's orbit, a satellite known as K-23, which shows a strong likelihood of being habitable for humans. A 5-member team of scientists boards the spacecraft Ether and sets off on a mission to investigate it firsthand. After a grueling 6-month journey, K-23, carrying humanity's last hope, finally comes into view. Rich mineral-filled freshwater, Earth-like gravity, and abundant oxygen levels make it clear that K-23 could fully replace Earth as a second home for mankind. 1 year later, the expedition team begins its return journey, carrying invaluable research data. But the excitement abruptly ends a week before arrival. When all contact with Earth suddenly goes dark, a full systems check reveals no issues with the Ether's communications. Just as the crew is on the verge of panic, a signal finally comes through from the Arctic. Before they can celebrate, alarms erupt throughout the ship. Unknowingly, they've drifted off course into an unexplored region of space. The captain slams on the brakes and attempts to change direction, but it's too late. The ship is struck by a barrage of space ice. The impact instantly destroys the radar system and communications module. In a desperate attempt to re-establish contact with Earth, the captain, his wife, and their assistant Annie suit up and head outside to install a backup antenna. The repair proceeds smoothly, almost too smoothly. Then, without warning, the once empty flight path is suddenly flooded with ice again. The already damaged shield collapses completely under the second wave of impact. Fortunately, the storm passes as quickly as it came, and the antenna is successfully deployed. As the captain breathes a sigh of relief, something is clearly wrong with Annie. Blood begins floating inside her helmet, her spacesuit punctured straight through. The moment they return to the airlock and remove her helmet, the blood compressed inside the suit bursts outward. In an instant, a life is lost. The crew is emotionally devastated, but what awaits them on Earth is far worse than anything they imagine. A thick gray haze fills the atmosphere, blocking all signal transmission. At the Arctic Observatory, the last remaining humans are in the middle of an emergency evacuation. It turns out that by 2049, Earth's environment has completely collapsed. A mysterious virus has contaminated the air, forcing the remaining survivors underground to await humanity's final end. Jack, a terminally ill astronomer, chooses to stay behind. He's determined to send out a warning to the ether before it reaches Earth. While waiting for a signal, Jack discovers a young girl in his kitchen, apparently left behind by an unknown family. No matter how he questions her, she refuses to speak. Repeated attempts to contact the underground base go unanswered, leaving him with no choice but to take care of the child on his own. Soon, radar confirms that the ether has arrived at Earth, but drastic environmental changes have weakened its power supply, and the Arctic Station's transmitter can no longer function properly. To send the warning, they must reach the Hansen Lake Observatory, hundreds of kilometers away. Fully geared up, the unlikely pair, one old, one young, race across the frozen wasteland on a snowmobile. Before long, they make a shocking discovery.